Not too long ago, I did a Chibi hour where I talked about Destiny 2 and skill-based matchmaking, giving my opinion of it, and I think I did a good job understanding why people would want it to stay and why people would want it to go away entirely. And yet, that video still led to some people not understanding what I was trying to say, and I kind of want to return to this topic again for more reasons than last time. For starters, Bungie has still not done anything about this. Number two, Bungie is doing a great job dodging this question, even though everywhere people are talking about this on Reddit, Bungie forums, Twitter. It's like the Matrix out here. And of course, I just want this topic to be talked about more because it's important for everyone, and not just the casuals, not just the hardcore players, not just the average players, everyone part of the Destiny community when it comes to PvP. So, let's talk about it. For starters, if you're confused about what skill-based matchmaking is, the short answer is basically how it works is you go into a lobby, they search you a match that's equal to your skill, and then boom, there's your match. Now, that doesn't sound too bad, but when you're playing on Destiny 2 servers, it could cause a lot of headaches. Number one, there's not that many players sometimes playing, so it leads to longer search times. And on top of this, it leads to you finding players that are across the world because they're in your skill rating, but we couldn't find anyone else that was playing at that time near you. And that can lead to a lot of laggy situations because, let's be honest, Destiny 2 servers are poo-poo trash. So, when it comes to skill-based matchmaking, they're important. Skill-based matchmaking is important for people who want to have a fair fight, who are looking to better their skills, and that's why it's always important to have that inside of modes like comp. But the problem is that that's where people are saying it should stay. And I have to agree that, yeah, it makes sense, but for the casuals, I feel like that's unfair. I feel like having a 6v6, or at least two 6v6 lobbies that are meant to just be for fun, but it's also skill-based, is very important as well. Especially, when it comes to these casuals who don't want to get destroyed by all these amazing players that have high skill ratings. So I get it. But here's the thing. For the hardcore players, having almost every important lobby, as in the big circles like Iron Banner and, Control in the middle of the screen, having those emphasize skill-based matchmaking leads to a lot of problems. It's led to, again, people taking forever to find matches, and on top of this, just sweaty upon sweaty matches, and it's just not fun for those players. So you casuals out there saying, well, I'm having fun, that's great, but you shouldn't be a jerk and be selfish about the entire, situation. When it comes to the community in Destiny, I really want people to come together and understand things, not sit in a corner and just think about what you want, and that's not what I'm doing at all. Honestly, what I think they should do is put skill-based matchmaking in classic mix and maybe one other lobbies on the main screen. Maybe. The reason why is because for casuals, skill-based matchmaking is not that big of a deal to them. All they care about is making sure that their matches are fair. So having skill-based matchmaking even in the smallest playlist in the corner is not really going to affect much for them. But when you put skill-based matchmaking in the most populated area, then it can lead to a lot of problems for the connection-based lobby. The connection-based lobby, which is the classic mix, the smaller lobby with less players, is actually filled with the most sweatiest players all around. Why? Because those people are like, well, I personally don't like having fair matches. I still want to use my cheesy loadout and destroy players, so I don't want to do it in here because I'm actually being put against other people with cheesy loadouts, so I'm going to go into the connection-only lobby to destroy players that would be worse than me. Yes, so most players are not casual going into that small, non-noticeable playlist in the corner. You look at it and you're like, is that private matches? It's not. It's classic mix. And it's led to that lobby being sweatier than comp. I'm not even joking when I say that. My KD is a 1.9. So if I go into skill-based matchmaking, I'm going to go against players that have that kind of KDs. And let me be honest. You watch my videos, you see how I snipe, you see how I use meme weapons like Hardlight and stuff. Guess what I'm going against? No one doing that. Everyone is running around with Icarus Grip Mindbenders and every air intel you can name. It's chaotic mess. If you want me to review a weapon, like some little tiny weapon that's not that great, I'm gonna get destroyed in there and not have any fun at all. Because everyone is there to win, when I'm in there to just play. It's not comp. It's for valor, not glory. So yeah. And then I go in the classic mix, and nothing changes, because that's where all the sweaty players are going as well. Now you see what I mean? So if they were to flip-flop it, the main lobbies will be filled with many fun moments for me and the hardcore players and everyone in general, while the classic mix playlist will be a safe place for any of the casuals. Now, I know a lot of casuals are probably having a tantrum in the comments, because that happened in the last video. I want you to understand this point of why it's so important to me to have connection being the main priority when it comes to Valor playlists. Because no one wants to play with me. That's the one thing that hits my heartstrings. Is I honestly can see my friends who are not at 1.9 struggling, and they're not having fun. So instead of them wanting to play with me, specifically when they're trying to do certain things, they want to go off playing by themselves. This has happened before in Destiny 1. I don't blame them. But that's why I get so mad when Bungie's like, this is a community. We want to ensure that this game's about playing with your friends. But not when it comes to PvP, apparently. Because everywhere we have to have skill-based matchmaking. So if I go into Iron Banner with my, low KD friends, any of them, they're going to have a bad time. They're going to get destroyed and not really have much fun. And honestly, I even thought about tanking my KD on purpose, so then I don't have to deal with that. So you being selfish and saying, well, skill-based matchmaking needs to stay there, you got to understand the bigger picture. I'm not saying that they should get rid of skill-based matchmaking entirely and just leave it into just comp. I do agree that 6v6 fun playlists should have skill-based matchmaking as well, at least a few. But when it comes to the overall playlist, I think connection should be important. But here's the big kicker. If you're afraid of people not going to skill-based matchmaking lobbies at all, casuals, here's the big one. Bungie. Incentive. If you're going to put skill-based matchmaking in any lobby, including Iron Banner, guess what? That's glory, my boy. Glory should be in any of those lobbies. The reason why is because you, Bungie, decided that it would be so cool to turn comp instead of it being meaningful to get to legend. Oh, that guy got to legend because he's such a great player. No, they got to legend because depending on their skill rating, they got to legend on their skill rating. Yes, skill-based matchmaking is in comp entirely, and it's not really based on the points. Every match, even with me with low points, has been a sweat fest. But I'm watching these casuals with like a 0.7, 0.8 going in the comp, and they're dealing with players that don't even know what they're doing. And I'm just looking at that like, this is for glory. So it's no different than going into 6v6 playlists like Iron Banner, where that should have glory then too, if we're not going to be fair where it's based upon points. But there's incentive to that. It's not bad. If they were to add glory, for example, to Iron Banner and keep the skill-based matchmaking in there, people would probably want to play it more because they're getting Valor and glory. And glory probably should have more incentive as well. I mean, what happened to showing off emblems and stuff, Bungie? You used to do that, not emblems, but like ranks, like in Halo. Maybe glory should have a way of, like a medal system next to your name at all times. So if you're in a lobby or if you're in the tower, you could show it off, not based on your emblem, but next to your name, an actual rank, where you are in PvP. And you can maybe like turn on and off like different kind of rankings. Like if someone wants to show off how they're ranking in like Gambit or Gambit Prime or inside of Valor or Glory, stuff like that. I feel like that would incentivize the whole showing off thing that people love to do. I can't get over the fact that literally people love wearing their KDA emblems. Like it's so awesome. But here's the thing. rewards too. Having there be better rewards when you get up in glory is very important. Not just going to max like legend to get not forgotten. I feel like if they were to have more to like getting ascendant shards and stuff like that, important materials or whatever, people would probably want to play modes that has skill-based matchmaking anyways. So if you have incentive, it's not like your playlists are going to be dead. So having the big circle playlists in the middle of the screen being connection only, while having certain modes have skill-based, certain 6v6 like the classic mix and comp and stuff, if you have incentive in there, there's no problem. There isn't. I don't understand why people don't understand what I'm trying to say. That if you're casual that doesn't want to get destroyed, wherever skill-based matchmaking goes, you're good, as long as it's a lobby that you actually would like to play. Let's be honest. Classic mix would be fine if it had skill-based matchmaking. That is where I would feel like would be great for casuals to go to. And nothing would change. That's the thing that they're not understanding. I don't think anything would really change in their experience from versus playing skill-based in the main big lobbies. And on top of this, if there was incentives to Glory and Glory was connected to any lobby with skill-based matchmaking, all of them, Bungie, not just some, then people would play them more. Incentives. That's it. You know, do that. And for us that just want to play and we don't care about the incentives, we just want to go in the match and maybe meme it up, whatever. And I want to go against players that are from poo-poo trash, skill to holy crap, this guy's a god level in a match. I'm fine with that. That's what I want. I want mixed experiences. I'm getting tired of going to lobbies every single day by myself, and all I see is Errant Hills and Mindbenders. All the time with the same loadouts, same sweaty, try-hard loadout. It's never the same. I mean, it's never different. But what's funny is I've seen matches where lower KD players go into matches, and there's so much variety. I miss that. Because I'm going in there too, like that. Like, you know what? I'm going to use Sturm and Drang because reasons. I just want to have fun. That my goal is not to just destroy every player in existence in Crucible, but I don't want to be stressing. And I don't want my friends to not want to play with me because Bungie's like, well, we got to put skill-based matchmaking in every single lobby except for Classic Mix. And no one wants to play Classic Mix because it's the sweatiest playlist because that's where all the sweaty tryhards are going. Because it's the only one with connection. Apparently, too. I say apparently because people have been saying that there is skill-based matchmaking sort of in there as well. Awesome. So, bottom line is this. Bungie, do something. And I mean, remove skill-based matchmaking. Don't hide. Stop that. Stop lying to your community about anything you do with matchmaking. Be upfront with how the servers are going to work. Because one thing you don't want is people to find out you're lying when you are not tied to Activision anymore. You're your own person. You're your own publisher, your own company. So you are to blame for anything you do going forward now. So don't make yourself look bad. That's somewhat voice. But please, communication is key. And we need to talk about this. Talk about it. Make some changes. Boom. Because everyone's talking about it now. And it's going to get... And you're losing a lot of your top... supporters inside of Destiny 2 for PvP. It's time. Just adding trials back is not going to be enough. And I feel like, that needs to be understood as well. So either way, I want to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like, do you agree with me or disagree? But I want you to really understand why. If you're somebody that personally loves skill-based matchmaking, what I said would not change anything from what you're doing. Don't be selfish. Connect with the community and find an agreement, because that's better. This goes for anything down the road. Like, let's find an equal grounds, okay? So either way, if you like this video, leave a like on the video. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon. and I'll see you in the next Chibi video. So have a Chibi-tastic day. Thank you for listening. Chibi out.